Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. Now this video is gonna be a little bit different. Now as long as you've been an XRP holder, you've heard of the buyback scenario. And you also heard about XRP being pegged to the price of gold. And I always said that the buyback looked like a scam to me. But maybe I looked at it in the wrong way. Let's take another look. The XRP held in escrow is no longer in possession of Ripple, and the supply shock will take place when it becomes public. The BIS, IMF, Fed are in possession of a substantial portion of these XRP in escrow. That would make XRP extremely scarce. And I always said XRP most likely, the XRP in escrow would end up in the hands of the central banks. Because that makes sense to me. What is XRP built to do? It's built to move money, move anything of value. David Schwartz said this: Ripple has two choices. We can continue to hold as much XRP as we do, or we can reduce the amount of XRP that we hold. There really isn't any third option. Ripple's original plan was to reduce our XRP holdings as quickly as we could. So maybe that escrow is already meant for the central banks of the world, and that would definitely lead to scarcity. And the buyback started at Vayhill Capital, but they were going beyond just a buyback. They also wanted to turn XRP into a bank. Take a listen.
It seems like where most people would like this to go is not to basically sell it to the government in a buyback type of thing, but to basically collateralize a new bank, call it the People's Bank, not to sound like communist China. It's the People's Bank, and then use the value of those assets to basically draw down fiat and then do mortgages and stuff, exactly. And because this bank is more liquid because it's got the XRP, you can do things. So, one thing you could do, is have a group of people come to an agreement that the fair market value of XRP is very high. Let's say $10,000. We could all come together, put our $10,000 tokens into a new entity, collateralize it, then use fiat loans against our XRP to go acquire gold and bring gold into the bank.
Now, here's my thinking. I am never, ever going to allow someone else to hold on to my XRP. I think we will get passive income options as we get institutional adoption of XRP. And that will most likely happen on the XRP ledger as well. But Ripple is also emerging into a central bank. I've said it multiple times. Every direction that Ripple went in so far makes them look more and more like a central bank. And Google even helped to fuel the buyback idea. Yes, the Federal Reserve plans to take ownership of Ripple XRP as a global payment solution. Now, they didn't say Federal Reserve plans to buy back your XRP. It just says that the Federal Reserve plans to take ownership of some XRP to use it as a global payment solution. Is Ripple buying back XRP as part of their buyback program? Yes, Ripple is buying back XRP as part of their buyback program to take it out of retail hands and into institutional hands. Now, we know Ripple locks away some of that escrow every single month. They lock it back because there's a demand for XRP. But that doesn't mean Ripple's going to buy back your XRP either. Then Eleanor Tourette even wanted to debunk the buyback proposal. Remember where she wanted to investigate the Federal Reserve buying back XRP at $30,000 per XRP? And then we haven't seen any articles come out about that ever since. But, you know, this buyback scenario has been with us since the first day you bought your XRP. And the reason I always thought it was very scammy and not likely is because they always talked about the Fed buying back your XRP. So what about people in other countries? Is the Fed going to buy back their XRP? Now, here's where I have a different way of thinking as far as a buyback. So it wouldn't be the BIS because there's only 63 countries that are tied to the BIS. But the IMF, however, is tied to 190 countries out of 195 countries that exist throughout the world. So the IMF buying back XRP would make a lot more sense to me because they could buy back from every single person practically all around the world. And we already know that the IMF is always talking about SDRs. I even said there is a good chance that XRP can become an SDR. And if that was to happen, we would be looking at $1,000 XRP easily. And the IMF also changed the rules on SDRs. They said that retail investors can now hold an ESDR. And Smoke even pointed out that XRP can easily become an SDR. And he even provides documentation to back this up. And I think that was always an idea at the IMF, but it goes much deeper and much darker. According to the IMF documentation, it is very real and coming, the new world's reserve currency. So the IMF wants to create a new world's reserve currency. They even said they could do it through an SDR. So think about that. Now, I don't think the IMF would force you to sell your XRP or force you into a buyback scenario because most people would be selling anyway. Once XRP reached $1,000, that would be it. Most people would be done and out of XRP completely. Maybe out of all the XRP holders out there, only 1% would continue to hold their XRP. 99%, in my opinion, would sell the second that it hit $1,000. Now, when you look at Brad Garlinghouse here in this clip, this shows you that Brad knows the plan. He's so confident. He knows what XRP is built to do, and he knows the path we're on. Take a listen.
Try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency.
So you see how confident Brad is. Maybe I should tell them what the IMF is going to do. You don't talk like that unless you already know. You got word from the elites what XRP is going to become and what it's going to do in the world. If SDR backed by gold, XRP used as a bridge, SDR equals gold equals XRP, and then IMF determined the value of gold in the terms of figure into the ESDR. But it's going to be 1 XRP equals 1 ounce of gold, possibly. And you see it right here in the documentation. So you see all the countries. They have USA, central bank digital currency. All these central bank digital currencies right here. China, UK, Euro, Japan, US. Then you go on and you look over here and you see the gold price. Then you see the tier 1, the SDR. And you see how all the central banks are tied to the SDR, which is tied to gold. And Ripple would be, XRP would be in the middle, acting like a bridge. That SDR would act like a bridge. And I think that's the path that we got put on a long time ago. Even the World Bank always said XRP and XLM as stable coins of the future. So think about where gold is right now. If we were to place the value of XRP and gold, we would be looking at a $2,636 XRP. And it would happen so quick because the IMF would already put all the rules in place for this to happen. Gold is recognized by central banks as the second largest reserve asset, ranking after the dollar. According to recent IMF data, gold just surpassed the euro, reaching 18% of total reserves compared to the euro's 16%. It carries no counterparty risk and is essential as a hedge against the sinking demand in the dollar. So what's going on right now? It looks like everything is actually setting up for this right here. Because all of a sudden, all the central banks are buying up all this gold. And at the same time, the US dollar as the current world's reserve currency is starting to weaken more and more, placing a need for a new currency, a new world's reserve currency. And that could be what XRP morphs into. Even David Schwartz said there can be multiple world's reserve currencies. Was he talking about XRP and XLM? Later, you could even add XDC in there. You could bring all the ISO cryptocurrencies into that classification because they're all built to move money. But you know, when I first looked at the buyback, I said, no, this is never going to happen. First off, they want you to hand over your XRP to Bay Hill Capital. They're going to custody it for you. I don't like that at all. Seems very scammy. Then they go on to talk about a Fed buyback, which I don't think would happen. But an IMF buyback does make a lot of sense. Hopefully I talked about this in the right way and I said it simple enough for everybody out there to understand because I wanted to put it into simple terms. But then there's this. The IRS and the U.S. Department of Treasury issued final regulations on June 28, 2024 for digital assets and crypto custodians and brokers. The U.S. Department of Treasury and the IRS today issued final regulation and requiring custodial brokers to report sales and exchanges of digital assets, including cryptocurrency. Now, the new U.S. Treasury dollar is coming next year. I'm very excited about that as well. I want to see what that looks like. We don't even know if that's going to be in paper form or digital form yet. But the reason I wanted to point this out, the Treasury is making rules and regulations. This goes in line with what Jim Rickards said back in 2021. Crypto groupies who think this is just more bureaucracy don't understand OFAC, IEEPA, or how the Treasury uses sanctions. This is a big stick approach to crypto, and the Treasury is preparing to use it. So he already knew back in 2021 that the Treasury would most likely be putting out crypto regulations. Now, Jim Rickards also predicts ICE 9. We know a new financial system is coming. ICE 9 makes a lot of sense. He also talked about Turkey joining the BRICS back in 2020. This year, Turkey applied to join the BRICS. Now, how could you call that years ago unless somebody else is telling you what you need to be telling the public? Or what you should be posting on X back then, which was Twitter. I think Jim Rickards is more of a messenger than a prophet, but that's just my opinion. And definitely let me know what you think about my theory on the buyback in the comments section down below. Because I looked at this multiple times and I always thought to myself, the buyback doesn't make sense but through the Fed, but through the IMF, it absolutely does. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.